Hi guys, my name is Aleja Adebowale and it's still the best sporting show in the whole of the universe. It's still Newsinstanta Sports. Of course, I mean on our band radio scope and of course on our YouTube channel. But when you want to you want to see us, we'll be having a whole lot of issues I'll be talking about today. Starting with Arsenal versus Brighton, United doing the unthinkable, doing the unthinkable against Barcelona crisis. I don't think people like to talk about the crisis because it looks like a crisis right. And of course, United City, United City or Luton Town, that's and whatnot. I'll be jumping into the NBA as well. I have with me today. I have Olawale with me, and I would like to allow you to start by introducing yourself to the. Go ahead, Olawale.
Yeah, good day, sporting fans around the world. Welcome to the show. It's a weekend when the referees decide to be the MVP of the league matches. They decide to be the main point of discussion. Uh, from the Fulham Newcastle game yesterday, I think the Jimenez record was a bit of overreaction from VAR. We saw a silly red card from what do you call it? And from the United Liverpool game when Daigodalo, who rightfully
Yeah.
protested of a throwing, which probably he won, rightly protested, and the referee on one incident gave him double yellow card. And in the same game where we saw Darwin Nunes in the first half, elbowed a player, he was yellow carded, he kicked the ball away, he made a joke he made a very let me say so. I would say unprofessional, something very immature gesture to the referee, and he got away with it. Just so those are the inconsistencies we talk about. We dive into that more by the time we go into the Liverpool United game. Once again, wherever you are listening to this, any part of the world, welcome to the show, and you have a wonderful 1 hour ahead of you.
All right. Perfect. I'll start with the game between Brighton and Hove versus Arsenal. Brighton has been an accolade yield for Mikel Arteta over the course of I'll say two seasons. They actually did lost against them last season as well at home. To be precise, the season before they lost at home against Brighton as well. And today I saw a different dynamics. A beat Brighton playing in Europa competition, which technically is a snack for them. But Arsenal came in strong, ensuring that all the press that they did could not be beaten by Brighton alone. And it was mistake and mistake by Brighton across for the entirety of the 90 minutes, bar some situation where Ben White was caught off in his usual set. The game made it 2-0. I don't know which game Olawale was watching, but Olawale said was an uninspiring performance by Arsenal. I don't agree with Olawale as a matter of fact. But Olari, I'll let you go ahead and tell me why you think it was an uninspiring performance by Arsenal.
Yeah, uninspiring. I think you were not the only person. I've seen some couple of tweets on Twitter, but of course from Arsenal fans, and you know the way Arsenal fans tend to overreact to any
Good
small
results.
victory nowadays.
Yeah,
Why I said so was it was a game despite how, let me say, not poor, how uninspiring Brighton were. It was a
yeah,
game that could have easily ended 1-1. At 1-0, Pascal Grobbs missed a very good chance.
yeah, yeah,
Arsenal, my problem with Arsenal during the game was, yes, defensively they look solid. They kept Brighton in under they kept them in control. They
yeah,
were in control of the game, but again, I'm not seeing enough composure, enough productivity from the attack. Some decisions are horribly taken. Players not doing the right thing at the right time. Martinelli for me has been uninspiring for weeks now.
yeah.
Saka seems not to be himself since probably that injury reported in week 7. His level of performance has not been optimal. Is
Yeah.
either 1 week up, the other week down. And Jesus probably scoring his second goal in like 3 or 4 games. I'm not sure how long this is going to
That
continue.
can be maintained.
I just
Yeah.
feel the Arsenal attack is a bit blunt for me. It's
Mm-hmm.
not sharp enough. It's not like they were missing that those chances. It's just not taking the right decision enough. A lot of balls hitting bodies in the box.
In the
I think they
box,
could
yes.
have done better. I think they've not really uh the reason why I'm majorly concerned. Last week they dropped to Aston Villa. Of course, Aston Villa probably joined second with Liverpool now.
Uh-huh.
My problem is City is going through a disappointing spell now.
A crisis spell right now,
Crisis.
yeah.
And if City are still 5 points off the top, I think it's still a good thing for them. So I think this is the period Arsenal needs to
To build
establish what do you call it? Any leader. So I
elderly.
look at this game like despite a 2-0 win, it was a game that could have most likely ended in a draw. And that was why I call it uninspiring. Everybody was just looking at the second goal at the end of the day. I was looking at it from Pascal Grob missed a very good chance.
A
That could
very
have been
good
1
chance.
1.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
other problem I have with Arsenal is despite the fact that Brighton played highlight, there were many occasions you saw a lot of three or 3 against 2 that you think Arsenal could have done better with their decision making to
Yeah.
create quality chances, which they've not done. And that is my major problem. And that's why I felt I was very disappointed. And I felt this game was not inspiring as far as I'm concerned. I think they
Also,
need to do better. I think attacking wise, they've not really done much this season. I don't know whether I'm probably holding them much to a higher standard,
and
but
that
I just felt,
you know
of
what they
course,
do
they've
this
scored
season.
35 goals, but on many occasions, it seems that they are laboring, as in they labor a lot to get some of these goals.
Those
So
goals.
for me, fight a very good victory, but I don't think
Yeah,
is
yeah.
as
Ola,
inspiring as a lot of people are making it to
yeah,
look like on social
I
media.
needed I needed to ask you a question as well, and I'm pretty sure. I don't know if you are very stubborn, anyways. I don't know if you would apologize. I am apologizing to Kai
To who?
Havertz. To Kai
No, I will
Havertz,
not. What happened?
um, over the course of I'll say the past 2 3 weeks, we've seen significant improvements. His passes is not entirely lazy anymore. We've seen a couple of not masterclass from him, but at least
Oh, thank
something
God.
that is expected of a footballer compared to what we saw at the start of the season. Do you think this guy would eventually improve and be a major jigsaw for Arsenal and Mikel Arteta at the end of the day? Because at the start of the season, I was one of the prophets of doom that this guy would never be
No,
this guy would
it's
never
like
make
you
sense.
saying, prior to United Liverpool game,
Yeah.
a lot of people have predicted a massacre. It's like you saying people should apologize to Manchester United for getting a draw against Liverpool. Of course, there will be one or two those off games where, as a decent player he is, he's going to put in some
Decent
normal to
performances.
good
Yeah.
performance. It,
Yeah.
it won't just be everything bad entirely. But again, do you think what he has offered you, in as much as his transfer market is highly, what do you call it, inflated?
Uh-huh.
The at 58, or how much was his money? Is it 58 or 60
65.
something?
65.
65?
65.
Do you think you are getting that input from a 65 million pound? Do you think
Okay.
Harvard has made Arsenal much better than what Granit Xhaka gave them last year? No, that's
No,
my
no.
point. He has not really, for that. If you are
But,
coming
but
in
in
with that
terms,
amount of money,
yeah, but in terms of improvements from
the
where he
only
was at
reason
the
why,
start of the
see
season.
what I'm see, the only reason why is because Ateta has stick with him because it's his signing. Remove that 60 something million pounds on him. Another coach will put him on rotation with some other players. It is what it is. So having a decent game will not make me change my mind on him. I've not seen him doing anything spectacular so far. Yes,
Okay.
one or two games here and there, some goals will certainly come, but I've not really seen that impact. like that big signing impact is, I mean, I've not seen it, and I don't think it will happen.
Okay, all right, perfect. Olale is sticking to his gun of it not happening. No dissenting opinion. Because it's just us two. I'm apologizing as a matter of fact. I feel he has improved. I feel the guy that I saw at the start of his season that was looking ridiculous has shown a little bit of grit, and he has shown a little bit of knowledge that he can actually take the bull by the horn, save us now a couple of times. His goal actually saved us now today as well. To the massacre that we all predicted, and of course, Alawali was one of the people that predicted the massacre. Or because let's be real, let's be factual. Last season they ended 7-0. They had Bruno Fernandez, and I think, and I start to be correct. I think it was a right that said, "See, Bruno not playing in this game is going to be a blessing in disguise for Manchester United." And thankfully enough, it looks like it. They show grit. They show defensive acumen. They showed organization throughout the 90 minutes. It was not an easy task for them. It's supposed to be a bloodbath, most definitely, playing against Liverpool with the kind of attack that Liverpool parades with Mo Salah, Danny Nunes, their midfield triumphant, and their ever reliable defense. When you're looking at Konata, Timiskas, and what have you. And Manchester United came out unscheduled with their pride intact, as a matter of fact. Because if it has gone sideways, like we predicted last week, and it had ended like 5-0 or 6-0, mind you, I think they've not scored against Liverpool. They scored just one
Like
goal for
at Anfield.
for yeah, and Liverpool has managed to score like 35 goals over the last couple of games. So it's emphatic. It's just the same way Liverpool is like the Achilles heel of Arsenal. You know, before now, it used to be Man U, even if Man U is uninspiring, they'll get a result against Liverpool. But over the past couple of seasons, maybe four seasons, maybe 3 seasons, it has been uninspiring. That's 7-0, 6-0, 5-1, 4-0, those kind of scandalous victories for Liverpool. But on this day, Manchester United gave an account of themselves. How much of this credit should be actually given to ETH? I know people will be like, "Oh no, 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 he's a bad coach," blah blah blah. Of course, when he's doing something right or when they get the results, we should be able to nitpick and say, "Okay, this is what happened. This is what happened. Okay, playing this one was a good one. Starting Varane, not making things difficult for himself by starting maybe Luke Shaw in the center of the defense, making everything look great for himself. And Minano, the 18-year-old boy, is showing what is expected or is unexpected of 18-year-old boy. I think the last time I'm not even sure. I'm pretty sure Flamini was not 18. Flamini should be like 19, 20 when he burst into the scene for us now. So the last time I saw any one of these was probably Flamini, and Flamini was much older than Minano when he did that. Alali, over to you.
Okay, so my thing was yes, ETH probably made some very good calls today, but again, was it were those calls, was he forced to make those calls probably due to injury and suspension, or do you think he could have gone with this lineup if he has every other person available? Yeah, I think yeah, he's going to, he's learning, and he's going to, unfortunately, learning the hard way. I don't know why fit. I know Varane has been having his own fitness issues since he joined United from Real Madrid. But again, I can't understand anytime why Varane is fit and you left him on the bench. No matter how the difference you have with him, you are at a very desperate period that you need all your best legs on the field. And
Yeah,
today Varane showed why ETH was wrong for not playing him when he was truly fit for some of those games in the past. And I understand Kobe Miano is a 18-year-old which who you need to manage his playing time very very well. But
yeah, well,
again, what we've seen so far is one of the problems with the United midfield has always been balance. And with him and Amrabat, of course, Amrabat too has been very inconsistent, playing well today, not playing well. But you see how naturally both fit. Like you have two guys who are probably natural CMs, natural central. I mean, they are, guys who can play from the deeper position. They at least both of them playing in that same position gives the midfield more assurance, and it allows McTominay to play a little bit advanced, even though he had a very disappointing performance for my own standard. Yeah, it was a spirited performance, but I think United had their own credit, but I think it was more down to Liverpool's inability to be composed in front of goal. Just like what I say against Arsenal, I think their case was a bit was a bit worse than Arsenal. They were a little bit too their decision making was very poor. Not
Oh
too
yeah,
much from Darwin Nunez, not that reliable. Diaz was not really up to its game. Salah was feeding on scraps there and there. I think what I've observed from Liverpool this season is as much as options they have in attack, I don't think they've really been able to. Uh, I don't think they are playing up to the level of what they had during the time
that is
of
expected.
Firmino, Mane, and Salah,
Yeah,
especially Salah. Yeah, I think the quality of players that is playing around him has made him more of a creator now than that direct goal threat he was doing. And this is my challenge with them. I think they will probably end up drawing a lot of games. Just like last week against Crystal Palace, it was a game that wasn't looking to go their way until that unfortunate red card to Ayew. I think we'll see a lot of teams who will be able to frustrate Liverpool, and their defense is not that solid too. Forget about their clean sheet today.
Oh,
They've shown that they are capable of conceding so many goals too.
considering
We saw that against Fulham so a couple of weeks ago, and even in the earlier part of the season, it took them like 6, 7, or 8 games before they kept their first clean sheet. So I think they don't have the right balance in all. Yes, they have options here and there, but overall, the attack doesn't still look that sharp enough. Yeah,
solid.
except for Salah, other guys seem not to be reliable. I think Jota is their next best goal scorer, and
Best,
he's
yeah,
probably not fit now. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I think the coach will probably. I think you have to go with somebody like Gapco more. Let's say him. I don't think you can rely too much on Darwin Nunez. I just think he's not composed much in front of goal, and decision making at times could be. So I think it was more down to Liverpool not being totally composed, because I could see a lot of times where they could have be a little bit more patient. You see a player just horribly taking the shot, some uninspiring crosses here and there. So, but again, you can't take it away for United. They did their own part, but
Us.
that is not what that formula is not something you can build on. It's a formula you want to use when you are down or
Down,
when
yeah.
you feel like a team is probably far more superior than you. Next game, if you are playing at home against West Ham, you can't expect to sit
No,
back.
no,
So, and what
definitely they can
we
do
saw
that.
today was a United team that we couldn't see any link between the midfield and attack, which is a big concern. And with Anthony, Ojland got one chance that he missed that he could have scored. Anthony had a lot of one-on-one situation that I don't think he maximized a lot. So attacking wise, still the old same story for United. Defensively, a little bit more assured. For
Yeah,
confidence purpose and for the what do you call it? For the sake of what do you for the talk of the crisis which is going on with the team, I think this is probably more of a positive result, especially coming from what majorly everybody is expecting. Everybody was expecting a massacre, and for them to be able to
massacre.
come out with a draw,
Yeah,
I
one hundred
think
percent.
it's tiring, but I don't think it is a result that is worth celebrating.
Yeah, definitely to you it might not be worth celebrating, but when you look at it from where they are coming from and what it could be in terms of morale booster for Manchester United, this is something that they needed. They are out of Europe entirely because of the week. Bayern Munich did not do you guys any favor. So someone is saying, I won't agree that they were sitting. Tommy was trash. We miss Casemiro, Bruno, and of course Eriksen. And I agree with you 100% that you guys miss Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes. But two, a crazy one would be the fact that Sergeant Ratcliffe is going to be the new guy on the block for you for in terms of football at Manchester United from January. Scary. That's what we hear in the news. We don't know how far it's true, if it's 100% true or not. But if it's 100% true, and right now, what the first thing that he wants to do is bring Graham Potter back to the Premier League for Manchester United. I know I'm a big fan of Graham Potter. Excuse me. Before the disastrous outing that stints that he had at Manchester at Chelsea. I like the guy. I like the way he played at Brighton. I know. But sometimes this is a United, just like Chelsea, is a toxic environment. 100%. You might not agree with me, but it is a toxic environment. Number two, he has confidence crisis. Going to another big job for him, number three, will be a very wrong move. And number four, if these players are not sinking, and I don't think the kind of players that United have right now will sink to any non-counter attacking football philosophy. So right now, and I'm not trying to be a prophet of doom, I see doom if Graham Potter comes to United. Do you think this will be a right fit at this particular point in time? Olali? Okay.
You, you know,
All right.
yeah, it's a bit. I don't know what to. Can you hear me? Yeah, I
Yeah,
got
go
the
on.
news. I got I think the news during the week, and I just feel like I don't know what to make up to make up of the what do you call it of the story, because I think Graham Potter is a decent coach, but like you rightly said, I won't call the United environment. Yeah, the current environment is probably toxic now. I agree with that, but I think the major problem is not even the toxic nature of the environment. I think the major problem is expectation. Now, the problem with United and probably Chelsea to an extent, but majorly United is you want a rebuild, and
Mm-hmm.
nobody wants to start that rebuild from the scratch. Everybody wants to start that rebuild from, let me say, uh, wants to rebuild, but at the same time, we have to be very relevant and competing. At times,
Yeah,
which might not be that easy, especially if you are really falling off. So sometimes coaches tends to not to stick with what they need to do. Sometimes
to
they want to do what will probably give them immediate results, which is not probably sustainable on the long run. And I think those are the part of the problem ETH probably is facing on his own part. He was granting an interview when somebody asked him like, why can't United play like the Ajax? He said no, like he can't play like that, and that was a bit surprising. So for Graham Potter, I don't really know. I think I don't think it's going to be the right move.
You're
I
losing
don't
me
think it's going to be
confused.
the right move. But
Speak.
I think what will be most
Yeah,
important is the structure that will be behind. I think a lot of emphasis have been laid on coaches in United, as far as Manchester United is concerned, in the past since Alex Ferguson left. But it's very
yeah,
obvious, in as much as all the coaches that have been employed and been sacked over a period, yes, you could make case for, okay, he made some bad decisions, this one made some bad decisions, but you can entirely see that the problem lies with the people even employing them. You could argue United hired Mourinho at the wrong time. You could
yeah,
argue
100%.
that of a Van Gaal for a man who was playing at the World Cup and who was still coaching Netherlands at the World Cup where United have already started preseason in United States of America. So you could look at the timing, you could look at the working conditions, and you look at, okay,
Yeah.
were this guy really properly back in the sense of not even signing a loan, in terms of the conducive environment. This guy will tell you that Van Gaal will tell you that in that first season left for him, United wouldn't have played that number of games they played during preseason. Do they listen enough to them? So
Yeah.
it's a bit of, so for Graham
So,
Potter,
so
I don't think
many
it's a good
issues.
decision. But I think what will be most important is the
The atmosphere
structure
that will miss. Yeah.
that will be, yes, I think that will be most important thing for United. It becomes very obvious that the people making the footballing decision in United have let the club down more than the coaches that have been sacked in the past.
Okay. All right, perfect. Welcome, Morocco Kachi. Thanks for joining us. But of course, just to read a couple of comments here. Someone said, "Celebrate what?" Okay, he said, "Unite." Okay, Olale, this is for you. Why would someone be saying United should not celebrate this draw? Come on, United have been shit since. Make Olale go sit down, Jare. United is in trouble with Jim. Qatari Smith was a
You said what?
disaster for us. Someone said you should go and sit down, that they are going to celebrate the win. Someone
The
said
draw.
the draw, sorry. Someone said United is in trouble with Sir Jim. Qatari
Okay.
Smith was a disaster for us. El Patron said, celebrate what rubbish. I said, would you prefer to for another 7-0 loss? He said, no, we're not good. I don't celebrate mediocrity, of course. Thank you guys for the comment. Which is catchy. I'm waiting for you. I've been waiting for you. Like I really miss you because I want to tackle you very well. But we'll go ahead before we jump into that place. I want to tackle you. Crisis at Barcelona. People, we have short memory as a human being, Kachi, and I'm speaking to you on
Mhm.
this. They lost against Girona 4-2, rested 8 players against Antwerp, lost 3-2, and played a 1-1 draw against Valencia. Before then, they've had a couple of uninspiring performances,
Mhm.
both in the league and Europe. But something some Barcelona fans are neglecting right now is the fact that they've forgotten that this is a club that is broke, so to speak. They don't have money. This guy came in, took them from whatever disaster they were at, took them back to the top, won the league, won I
Mhm.
think the League Cup as well. So basically, calling for his head, for me, it's not necessary right now, right? Because we might not see that, we might see a more pragmatic approach, which is a replica of what we saw with Luis Enrique. We Not everybody will play like Pep Guardiola or Tito, you know, not everybody. And since both of them left, we've seen a mix at Barcelona more than the strict tiki taka of passing, passing, and passing and passing, you know. And I think personally, at least my opinion, I stand to be corrected. Xavi should be given the free reins. They should allow him do what he wants to do and blossom at the end of the day.
Mhm.
The results, the victory, or should I say the triumph they had at the start of his Barcelona career, I think they were a little bit premature.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, it's supposed to be a project, but he came in because Real Madrid were not doing very well. He came in and did all those things that people expected or put their expectations to the rooftop. This is a club that had to rely on Arsenal reject of Aubameyang to get out of the routes that they were. So it has not been an easy one for Barcelona. So coming out and calling for his head, I think is uncalled for. I don't like the way they play. I'm going to admit to that. But I think it's uncalled for, realistically. Kachi, your thoughts?
It's I think it's a sign of the generation we're in right now, where impatience has become the hallmark of the day. Impatience, literally, in life, which has also translated into sports. Barcelona in recent times have been spoiled for choice. They've been spoiled with successes that you begin to use that as the barometer to measure whether someone is succeeding in their initial plans or not.
Not.
To your point, if and I think Xavi is a victim of his own success from last season, because if he had not won that league or done the double as he did, and only progressively showed improvement by maybe finishing second to a Real Madrid or to an Atletico Madrid,
Yeah.
then people would probably say, okay, let us see what the next step would be. Maybe coming out of the group stage this time around would have been a better success or another notch of the belt. But he is suffering now because in his first, he made it look easy, quote and
Exactly.
unquote,
Yeah.
right now. So, and that is what is affecting people. Now, if you ask me what my personal opinion is, my opinion is I mirror what your sentiment. I don't think he should go. I think he should be given some time. But I also think that the management, the board of Barcelona would also echo this same opinion. Now, it is not run like uh, Real Madrid, where Florentino Perez is the lord of the
Yeah.
manor.
Yeah.
This is a club that respects and takes the input of its supporters. But I think the board will be able to prevail on them to say, hey, if you are backing now because of just one season where it looks as if we're inconsistent, and let's not forget, this is the first season he is playing without Sergio Busquets orchestrating whatever is happening in that middle.
In the
I think
middle.
it was on our social media page that you put up a quote by the late Johan Cruyff,
Yeah.
who said, "You would not know the effect of Sergio Busquets until he leaves." It
Yeah.
hasn't taken us up to an entire season to see the impact
Yeah.
of Sergio Busquets in that Barcelona team, whether under Pep or under Xavi. So all this is to say they should temper their expectations,
Uh-huh.
and allow, because this is a wholesome change. Although we also have to say that it is too early for him to start the stupid tinkering that he did in the middle of the week, where a left back was it middle of the week? Oh no, it was over last weekend. It was last weekend where a
Uh,
left back was playing center back, a center back was playing right back. I,
oh
I
yeah.
mean, he is not Pep Guardiola. So
Yeah.
when you are trying to buy time, pretty much, you
Yeah.
try and do the tried and trusted,
The simple things, right?
and exactly. And then when you have that capital, which we all thought he did, but of course, like, fans have been spoiled by recent successes.
Yeah.
Um, if when you have capital in terms of time, you can
Yeah.
now start to tinker. Everybody calls Pep Guardiola the tinker man, but nobody takes him to the guillotine because of that. Because
Yeah.
he has got himself, he has the capital of time from consistent successes.
Yeah.
Xavi should not start over tinkering and instead try to steady the ship, find out what works best for him. But usually, the best time to find out what works best for you is in the off season. I think the board would side with our argument that they
Of
should
course.
give him some time. The truth is, there's really no one out there right now who really is out there that if you say Barcelona should go for, because we're already arguing the Graham Potter one now, and Olawale Asodi is not the right person. Who
Mikel,
is out
Mikel Arteta.
there? I don't think
He's a,
Ateta is ready to leave until he
he's a,
wins the
Barcelona,
Champions League
he's
for
a
Arsenal.
Barcelona, he's a Barcelona boy, true and true as well. So you never can tell. You just say, "Oh, thank you, Arsenal. I love you guys, but I'm going to a bigger club." As a matter of fact, which is sadly the truth. So what's that at Boga? I'm not going to say what the first said. They are broke. They took a loan of 1.5 billion euros to renovate Camp Nou. Is that not a misplaced priority? And of course, so basically, there's no crisis at Barcelona. It's the consensus of everyone here. Luton City captain Loka is stable after the cardiac arrest that he had. The game itself was abandoned. Olali, if you can remember, I think it was 2003 crisis, what crisis, and that was an adage by one of the commentators. Do we have crisis at City right now? Because the results have shown crisis, but Pep Guardiola is a genius. Pep Guardiola is the best coach in the history of football. You can't take it away from him. So saying a club Guardiola manages is in crisis. It's a little bit. I'm not gonna say it. I can't say it. I feel it, but I can't really say it. Do you think we have a crisis at City right now?
No, there is no crisis at City. Trust the media. The media wants to make news out of everything. And what else do you expect? I think City are suffering from the standard they've set for themselves in the past 6 to 7 years. City are just 5 points behind Arsenal, who are topping the league, and will still have 21 games left to play in the season. So I don't think they are in crisis. Yes, they've not been playing well, even throughout the season so far. We've not really seen them at the utmost best. Probably bad the game against United, which was a very clinical game, and that one you can understand. I think City have been a little bit below par,
Off pace.
and a couple of things
Yeah.
can be understand can be as in there are some couple of explanation for this. Like I rightly say that in my article that I wrote the for Newsinstanta
This is
about
yeah,
expectation for Arsenal, what constitutes a good season for Arsenal. I
success.
said one of the things that City will suffer from this season is mental fatigue. Mental fatigue is real. It's easy. It's much easier. Don't let me say easy. Don't let me disrespect. It's much easier for you to uh for you to organize yourself or to get yourself mentally ready for a 4 weeks competition, just like the World Cup. It starts at the beginning of the month, it ends at the end
Yeah.
of the month. But when you talk about the league, you have to consistently
It's a
be
marathon.
at your optimal best for like 10 months out of 12. It's actually draining. For you to have done that, winning that 3 times consecutively, and let me say 5 times in the last 6 years, it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot, especially if you could recall there are two of those seasons that went to the wire against head to head with Liverpool. Liverpool could have
Yeah.
won probably the two.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it takes
100%.
a lot. It takes a lot. Concentration, getting yourself ready at every point in time,
Yeah.
maintaining.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I said it that because in the league we've not seen anybody winning the league. Even when United were when people said United were dominating the league in the 90s, they did not win 4 in a row. What they
Oh
did
yeah.
was they did 3 times twice. Uh,
Yeah.
99, 2000, 2001. Then they did
Mm-hmm.
2007, 8, 9. Those are the two occasions they won it 3 times in a row.
We did
So
the
it's
three
not
pits.
something. Yeah,
Three
it's not
pits.
a
The three pit that you will not allow us to hear word when you're talking about Michael Jordan. Go ahead, allow you.
so it's not something that is very easy. So I think the mental fatigue is real. On the other hand, too, like I rightly said, I think they've not gotten the right. They've not, with all due respect to Matthias Nunez, the guy that's joined them from
From Wolves.
uh Wolves. I don't think Guardiola trusts him enough. Kovacic, I think those two are not really an upgrade on Ike
I,
Godigan. What Godigan gives you with Alvarez, what you have presently is more of a striker who is now playing probably as a number 8. Oh no, who's playing more like a supporting
yeah.
striker.
Yeah. Right. On
It doesn't really give them that additional body
in the
in
middle of the park.
midfield in terms of keeping possession, and which is
Yeah.
what City is, which is what a Guardiola team is largely obsessed about. Control, possession wise, and this is what Ike Godigan gives you. It gives you that control in the midfield, and again it can the whatever Alvarez is doing in terms of goal scoring for you now. Godigan
Mm-hmm.
can still do that for you. He arrives
And do
inside the
that.
box to convert
Right.
those kind of chances. So
Chances.
with him not in the team now, and with Kevin De Bruyne out for a long spell, I think this kind of and with the success of recent years, for me, I think this is expected. I don't want City to win the league for obvious reasons. I don't want them to do 4 times, but I think they are still my favorite as long as they are still just within 5 points
5 points.
below
So
whoever is on top of the league. I still take them as the favorite
Right.
yeah.
so
I
far
agree.
because I don't think
One
this
hundred
will
percent.
continue forever.
100%.
So I don't
All
think it's a
right.
I agree.
crisis. I think it's just a bad spell.
All right, perfect. Kachi, do you agree with Abawali that there's no crisis at City right now?
Uh,
With their spark of results, drawing against Crystal Palace, managing to win against Zevenda, managing just barely winning against Luton Town, losing against Aston Villa, a draw against Tottenham Hotspur, you know, and these are the kind of results that we're seeing from them. 4-4 against the erratic Chelsea. These are the kind of results that we see from them all season. And should we call crisis right now, or we should just wait a little bit and like, okay, no crisis, it's City.
Um, I don't think the world is crisis. I think it's uncharted territories, if you ask me. We've
Oh,
never seen this type of slump in any team led by Pep Guardiola for
yeah,
this long. And when I say slump, I pretty much just mean in terms of results, because the performances on the pitch is still towing the same narrative where they dominate possession, they
yeah,
create chances, they are
yeah,
just not decisive with their chances.
yeah.
Um, I do, however, think that the missing pieces are the key pieces. You know,
Mm,
the experience and the eye for a pass of Kevin De Bruyne. Um, the calmness that Ike Gundogan will give you,
yeah,
which is
yeah,
what I think is a major difference between what Alvarez is trying to do and what
yeah.
how, as much as he's trying to get more involved in build-up play, he is
Mhm.
still slightly one-dimensional. And I'm talking of our very good friend, the Norwegian in
Oh,
Erling Haaland. All
yeah,
that being said, I
yeah,
still do think this is uncharted territories. Olawale rightly said, because other teams are not taking advantage and running away with it and creating such high of a cliff
uh-huh,
for Pep to navigate, then they obviously still have a chance. So Pep is probably the best experience, especially with what happened last season, coming from about an 8 point deficit to reclaim and win the title.
was
Of
against Arsenal for Pete's sake.
what? What did you
It
say?
was against Arsenal for Pete's sake.
It
Arsenal
does
is
not
not.
matter. It was still 8 points. For
Yeah,
some other team, mentally an 8 point gap, they will call it in and just try and qualify for Europe. But
yeah,
Pep's team did not call in of never quitting, knowing that whatever they are doing, losing 10-0, losing 1-0 is just 3 points. Winning
yeah,
10-0, winning 1-0 is just 3 points. So
yeah.
technically, they are not out of it. We're entering the crucial stage now where a run of uh, games and your squad depth would ultimately determine how good and how much of a run you can make. So I
Uh-huh.
don't think it's a crisis. Even if it is a crisis, I think Pep is best equipped to navigate it. The issue, rather, for me now is did he bring in enough people to have the drive to want to win a championship now? Or are they trying to probably put their focus in Europe to the detriment of the league? The league is definitely, the season is not over. City will remain favorites even if they are 10 points behind, except if the team that has that 10 point gap is Liverpool. If it is Arsenal, Aston Villa, or any other team, you definitely will not rule out City.
New City. All right, perfect. Thank you very much, guys, for that. And of course, Victor Osimhen was crowned the African Footballer of the Year in the course of the week. Asisa Toshuala won the Women African Footballer of the Year for the sixth time. Bronny, I don't know. It has already become a batch, right? When you play for Barcelona, that's what you get. And when you go across Europe playing for the biggest team. Jimenez, Dalo red card. That was a crazy one. I think Olari spoke about that. We have a little bit of time left, like 15 minutes. So I'll just jump straight to the world of basketball. And
And that's where you are waiting for me.
yeah, that's where I was waiting for Kaji. I'm like, okay, I'm going to start with the LA Clippers. And I know this guy is a troublesome guy. He said he's the system. People don't believe him. He's crazy. He's a disruptive element, so to speak. Ross Westbrook have done his own part by being the sixth man. Kawhi Leonard, of course, we know the kind of player he is on his day when he's not injured. PG, probably one of the best of his generation, as a matter of fact, but he's
Mhm.
always injured, you know. But the way the dexterity and the insickness, if there's anyone like that, that I see with the Clippers these days is really strong. Like, okay, maybe they are making this work. Maybe they actually can make this work, even if they have either or PG or Kawhi at James Harden hardly gets injured anyways. So if they have either or playing, they could actually do something in the playoffs. I'm not saying they're going to win any chip or anything, but at least it's going to be against your odds from what we perceive at the start of the season. Kachi, I'm going to start with you on this. I know you did not give them a chance. As a matter of fact, you said it's going to implode, right? But we've seen improvements and no signs of implosion. Do you still think we are still going to see some kind of implosion? It's just a matter of fact of time, or this improvement could actually graduate to something better for them.
And we wait to see it, but you cannot predict the future without looking at what has happened in the past. The key guidance for really because we have
You're starting. You're trying to dig your way out of this by being static. Don't don't be philosophical with me. I want a straight answer. I'm not one of your.
If you can hear me clearly, I've said
Okay,
our ability to predict the future is really because we have historical data to back up our
yeah,
assertion.
yeah.
Now, between the Clippers guys, we have enough empirical data to support our assertion that there will be some form of implosion. Now, the implosion might come by way of an injury. It might we just don't know how, but the Clipper would Clipper it. It's just how you say, oh, Arsenal will Arsenal it. The Clipper will Clipper it. They will do something bad. What I need to, however, say is all we are seeing lets me know that whatever implosion that has been happening in the past is purely selfish on the part of the players. These guys are all entering, I believe, the final years of their contract. I totally believe so. Olawale, please correct me if my fact is wrong. But I totally believe they are doing this because if this contract finish, chances are that Steve Ballmer will not try to get the gang together again. So I
Okay.
mean, when a team tells you that, oh, we were hearing rumors that the championship would not be respected, that was why we did not play hard enough to try and win a championship for a franchise that has never won a championship. I hope you see where I'm coming from, Debo. So
Yeah, I do.
we have a lot of historical data to support us sitting here and saying the LA Clippers will do the equivalent of what in NFL the LA Chargers also do, which is even when it looks as if things are going well, they will
Yeah.
find a way to bundle it. I like what I'm seeing. I definitely like PG. I like Kawhi individually. Of course,
Yeah.
James Harden, I have my case out for you, even though you are now starting to show performances. I've been a big fan of Russell Westbrook. So individually, these are not players I have a bias against.
Again.
I'm only saying collectively, there is something happening, and it's beginning to make me think it is more managerial and administrative, which the players see, and then they subconsciously start to reflect that, and ultimately it will implode. So I do see
So,
their implosion happening in the
you're,
future.
you're still not giving them the chance, right? Still not.
Definitely. I don't see them coming out or doing anything in the West, and this will probably be the last time we'll see all of them together.
Okay, Alawale, do you agree with Kachi on this one? Like, it's just a matter of time. There's going to be an implosion, or you think otherwise?
Well, I think probably one of the reasons why initially we felt when you have four superstars and probably all of them being at probably three, or let me say two and a half, or I like say three of them probably passing their prime, and you want all of them on the court at the same time. It's a recipe for disaster. I think the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
thing they've done that for me that probably makes sense was for Russell
Ross.
Westbrook to accept the fact that he will start from the bench. At least that gives them the chance to play two other guys who could probably do things that those superstars don't want to do on the normal day, which will increase
Yeah,
their chances. And you have somebody to lead, what do you call it, the bench players when they are playing their minutes. Uh, in as much as I can't trust them completely, I think I've been impressed since they lost to the Warriors. They've won 7 consecutive games, and if you look at the teams they've beaten, uh,
go ahead. I know they defeated the
they've beaten the
Warriors.
they never no get. They've beaten
Nuggets. Yeah.
Warriors never no get the Sacramento Kings. Uh, okay, Utah Jazz. At least they've defeated like 3 or 4 teams who are above 500 teams, which shows that they are. I think I'll probably it's a matter of sit and look. I'll probably give them a chance, considering the fact that I just think the West looks like wide open now. The 2 teams leading the West are 2 teams who like I would consider very inexperienced in Minnesota Timberwolves and Thunder. If you look at the usual suspect that you might think that's okay, the Nuggets are number 4, which is still not bad. The Lakers are presently 8, while the Clippers are 6. So if you look at the mixture, it looks and the Golden State Warriors are presently 11th, which means a place out of the even the play-in tournament.
Mhm.
And that's 2 games. It's even 2 games behind the play-in tournament. So the Suns are presently 10th. So it shows that as much as we want to believe the Clippers are bad, a lot of the teams we've considered to be favorites have been equally bad or even worse than the Clippers. Bar
Yeah.
probably the Nuggets, who are even forced themselves, who are not that not the Nuggets are 17-10, the Clippers are 15-10. So I think if ego doesn't set in, if they could buy in, which I where I probably agree with Kachi, is something you can't really guarantee.
Rule out.
I think they have a decent chance. I will not say they are the favorite, but
No, that's
with the situation of things in the Western Conference, it looks like it's everybody's uh everybody probably have a chance at a shot of getting out of the West as it stands now. So
yeah.
I will give them a chance.
All right. Perfect. Thank you very much. And of course, that's Kachi. Sorry, you're muted. You want to say
Yeah,
something?
Rib Olawale that if I'm going to find the king of diplomacy, Olawale, when there's a war, when the war between Russia and whoever eventually happens, I need to make sure that you are there to
To be
to
one of the
to
mediators.
make sure diplomacy sets in. You are the
Kachi, I'm gonna come
I'm
back
not
to
being
you.
diplomatic here now. I said I'm going to give them a chance because the West looks open now.
let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Kachi, I'm gonna come back to you. And the guy that we don't know whether he's still actually interested in playing basketball or not. And we're talking about no other person than Devon Green. He has been so, I don't know, like it's become like a mental situation. Bad role model for the kids, for all the cars, and make it seem like okay, these behaviors are normal, which is unacceptable in the real sense of it, the strict sense of it. And the Golden State Warrior, I'm going to call it out. For me personally, they have a crisis at hand. The way they've been playing is short of, is devoid of confidence. Their emotional leader, like you always call Green, Demon Green is out. Trey Thompson is not the same, of course. And the Wiga, Omega, those guys are not brimming in confidence. The lack of beat for them means they're really being one dimensional. You can actually figure them out. It's not like someone is going to attack the paint for them or whatnot. So they still rely on the fluidity within the paint, right? And it's showing like they've been figured out, or it's game over for Golden State Warriors. That era. as we know it. Do you agree with this, or you feel it's just something that would pass through? Because Draymond has been suspended indefinitely right now, and
Mhm,
he's according to the court. So
mhm.
it looks like he's out of the game, 100%. And the way the DSW is playing is not changing, and it looks like it'll be figured out. Do you agree with it?
Therefore, let me put it this way: even if we don't want it, hmm, even if the purists, the lover of flair, glamorous, fast-paced, dagger to your heart type of basketball that GSW played, even if those fans don't want it, situation right now necessitates it. Uh, we are seeing what youth, a predominantly youthful team with a sprinkle of experience, can do in Memphis, in OKC. And this is reminiscent of what the Golden State Warriors were 10, 11 years ago when a certain, when they burst into the scene, thanks to Mark Jackson for not trading um, Steph to the
So
Milwaukee Bucks as people thought he was going to do then. Situation right now necessitates it. The guys are older. The mental fatigue that Olawale alluded to when we discussed soccer has set in. The only person now that has a motivation to do something is the oldest person in the team, and that is CP3. The two voices that the heart and soul of the team actually listens to have left in I can't remember the name of their GM now. I'm so sorry. And in Andre Godala. So right now it looks as if Draymond is unhinged. Steve Kerr definitely cannot. I mean, we're seeing Steve Kerr do uncharacteristic things, talking about how loud the noise in Memphis is. Coming out to critique people like Stephen A. Smith, that we know that no matter how much you critique Stephen A. Smith, Stephen will talk what he needs to say.
yeah,
Usually, Steve Kerr always had the ability to block out the external noise and focus on the main thing. So
yeah,
we are beginning to see even their coach unravel. So
yeah.
that tells me now that there has to be a change of scenery for a lot of these guys. Clay cannot give you the type of performances we knew him for. Yes, he had one of those. He reminded us of what he could do. I believe the last game or 2 games ago.
Last night.
We don't see that type of performances consistently from Clay. Steph would always be Steph, but even Steph himself was surprised at the podium yesterday when he heard about the young guy from the Sacramento Kings who put up 12 straight 3-pointers, doing things that even Steph himself never dreamt of doing in his own career. So,
Yeah.
and we saw him being shocked. A typical Steph would internalize that, use that as energy, drive to do better.
Uh-huh.
So I'm pretty much saying whether we want it or we don't want it, situation necessitates it.
The
That
change of it.
should be disintegrated. Unfortunately, the people that it will affect the most will be Draymond, will be CP3, will be Clay. Steph will definitely be the face of the franchise. He's going to get a statue at their new arena at some point. Maybe Clay also gets. Maybe Draymond even also gets. I'm not sure of this. But performances, age, the fact that the people are no longer being held accountable is leading to some uncharacteristic results from people we have always held at high esteem. And sometimes the change of scenery is necessary.
This is necessary. Malali, before we go on the show, do you agree with Kashi just before we run off? Malali, yeah, I think
Okay, so
okay,
for the Golden State Warriors,
uh-huh.
I think just like what happened to LeBron with the Lakers after winning the 2019 he danger of probably wasting Steph Curry's remaining peak years as it stands now. I think the truth of the matter about Clay now is I hope he can have that self-reflection. Is that he's not the same guy like he was before. I think he has some bit of what he has in his on his legs. I think that 2 years out has really impacted him a lot. I think we can't expect him to be that guy he was prior to that injury. And Draymond Green, if you look at his reaction and Draymond Green reaction, I
Mm-hmm.
see it from a frustration point of view. Guys who realize they can't be at the level they were some couple of years ago. Do you know that Golden State Warriors between that 2015 and 2018, they were like the Barcelona of Pep Guardiola. Like you don't want to
Yeah.
play them, especially that their third quarter rush when they come after
Uh-huh.
you. There is no way you could have enjoyed such dominance, such success, and you find yourself a little bit like down. There is, of course, a tendency of frustration setting in. I think that is what we are seeing from Clay and uh,
Um, Draymond.
what do you Draymond Green. And for Draymond Green, I think his bad behavior is what the American press has encouraged over time too. We've seen some of this behavior from him in the past, and you see the kind of comment like he's a competitor, he's very competitive, he's a guy that wants to, yeah, he's the one you want, he's the one that set the tune for the team. You know, there are ways, there are some things they do say that you just feel like, so I think that is added to one of the problem. And another major thing is Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins should be cementing himself as number two guy in this team now. But unfortunately, last year it took some period off from the team and he came back during that playoff, and he know he wasn't
Yeah.
really that the same. And this year too, he has not ascended that what people expect of him, like being that two guy. So I think it could be the time. I won't say the Warriors need some surgical operation in their team. I don't think Clay is going to get that 4 years extension, and that might be off the table by now. I expect them to make some. I think playing like a guy that still have at least,
Drastic changes.
he might not be able to play to that the LeBron years, but I think he's still playing like a guy that has like 2 or 3 years in him if surrounded with the right tools. So
Right. Very true.
and before the Golden State Warrior will enter NBA, every team will always go through that cycle.
That's
Probably,
yeah.
so
All right.
I think before they end thing, they will probably want to get
Get
the
it.
remaining
Get the ball. Get the
years
ball
with Steph
rolling.
Curry,
Yeah.
and which means they will have to do something with their.
All right. Perfect. Thank you very much, Ali. Thank you very much, Lati, for that. It's agreeable now. You guys don't want the surgical operation, but it looks like surgical operation is the best for the Golden State Warriors. As a matter of fact, at one point or the other, and the two major pieces needs to kind of leave. Even Clay might actually need a better challenge, a different challenge that would actually reactivate him, remotivate him. He has 4 rings already. He has cemented his name in history as one of the best basketballers. He's one of the faces of the franchise as well, whatever way you want to look at it. So it's a good one for both guys. Draymond, bad role model, Kachi's best friend, emotional leader, as he usually tags him. I never really liked Draymond, so I never really liked him. Funny enough, I'm a little bit like Draymond, so it's contradictory. It's contradictory. You want to say something? Anyways, Kachi, do you have a shout out before we go? I know you always have a shout out. Shout out to who today?
Yes, big shout out to Leon Edwards for successfully defending his title at UFC 297 against Colby Covington. I personally don't like when professional sports guys are too overly vocal about their political leaning. And Colby, obviously, all is always fair in warfare, brought about the murder of Leon Edwards' dad and used it to diss him. But I believe he was rightly put in his place. I don't expect Kobe to ever get a shot at that title again. He's gotten it against Kamaru. He's gotten it. So it's about time they move away from Kobe. But big shout out to Leon Edwards for stamping his authority. He's the biggest thing right now, and long may his reign continue.
All right, perfect. To see you again next week. My name is Ladeja Adewale. It's still 6 days with Newsinstanta Sports. Keep supporting sports, and we love you. Bye, guys.